Hello my friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to spend some time here in the cottage garden right behind me. It has gotten wild and woolly and I need to clean it up because honestly it is driving me nuts every time I look at it. So as I always say, I figured if I have to do something in my garden, odds are somebody out there needs to do it in their garden, and I'm just here to take you along for the ride, hopefully give you a tip or two here or there, and just kind of give you a status report of what's happening in the garden here. Gosh, I guess today's the first day of August, so hello August. Things in North Carolina, Zone 8A, typical for what August looks like here in North Carolina. So we're going to first just kind of walk through, and I'm going to, like I said, give you kind of the status update, show you the messes and the successes, what is thriving, what needs a little TLC, what is just a mess, and just, you know, general update of the garden, and then we're going to take care of it. Hopefully there's going to be a dramatic before and after for myself because like I said, it's driving me crazy. I'm not planting one thing today. This is merely a cleanup because, as I always say, neat and tidy just makes you feel so much better. Odds are you don't have to add plants, you know, especially this time of year in the South. We are going for neat and tidy look, and that just makes me feel so much better for my garden. So the cottage garden, of course, there consists of really two beds here, and they are, from a distance, they are lush and they are full and they are thick, but there are certain things that we just need to take care of. So let's just start on this side. We're already down here, so let's just move that way. To give you an idea though, as far as, of course, like I said, we are in North Carolina, Zone 8A, heat and humidity, especially this time of year, it's just insane out the roof. I don't know what it is here lately with these videos. It's completely cloudy until the moment I pull the camera out, and as soon as I pull the camera out, the sun comes out, which is great. I'm happy to see the sun and the blue sky, but that just takes the dew point and the humidity out through the roof. So it's gonna be fun. Behind me, we have started getting lots of rain. So in the last 3 weeks, we have gotten tons of rain. I would say we're back to the ground being saturated because we got like a downpour yesterday, and we just had, I don't say flooding, but there was running water all over the places. So the good thing is that everything's really green and lush, and the grass looks great and it's gorgeous. It had started to turn brown. We got all this rain, it started to turn green again. And we've had to turn off the irrigation for these beds because there's just way too much water. Remember I don't know how many weeks ago that was, that I showed you where I pruned my Amsonia? Look how nice it has rebounded, right? So it is, even though we've had all this rain, it is not floppy. It has gotten nice and thick and is able to handle any kind of, you know, storms that we have had. My daylilies were absolutely gorgeous, but they're done. So your daylilies, once they bloom, and your stems will dry up. So you should be able just to pull them out just like that. So that's what I'm gonna do with my daylilies. I'm gonna come around, we're gonna clean everybody up, and you literally can just yank them out. I have got guara right back here. I'm gonna shear it down to the ground because it's not blooming, right? So it has kind of finished blooming for right now. By giving it a nice haircut, it should rebound because we've got plenty of growing season left, and it will reflower and do quite nicely. Look, a wonderful success, right? That Senorita Rosalita Cleome, I love it. There are two plants here. They were extremely tiny, extremely small when I put them in. They were just pitiful looking. So now they are just shining so brightly, along with this Buddleia butterfly bush. This was like I think this was one of the chips, like microchip, lo and behold chip, something. It was some test plant that Proven Winners sent me. And it does look nice. Now, if you look down in the center, you can see that it's kind of split open a little bit because we got some funk going on right here, but I am not touching it. The flowers are beautiful. I have got butterflies all over it. So even though the shape is less than desirable, the flowers are doing great. And look, we've got, like I said, butterflies just living their best life on it. So we are going to leave it alone. I have got Monarda, my bee balm. She is finished flowering. So we're just going to come in here and clean up, right? Just kind of take off These dead heads, basically what I'm gonna do is just kind of gather it up and just shear it back. I'm not gonna cut it all the way to the ground, but I'm just gonna get rid of the dead leaf, where the old blooms were. Same thing with my Shasta daisies. This is Banana Cream 2. You can see she's done. So we're gonna give her a nice shear back, clean her up. Cleaning up is the name of the game today. Vermillionaire doing lovely. So we've got multiple Vermillionaires in here. They're doing great. Leave them alone. Daylilies, like I said, are galore in here. So we're gonna clean those up. This little whole area is doing nicely. And then I've got some liatris. So liatris is a great perennial that gets really tall. And so it'll do those spikes of purple flowers. So it is finished flowering. It kind of reminds you of the foliage of an Amsonia. But the problem with it is that it does get tall, and so it can flop. So we're just gonna kind of come in here and give it a shear, maybe like cut it back by half, so that way you can see right here, all of this is laying down and it's covering up my alliums. And I want my little alliums, because they're blooming, I want them to be happy and see those sweet blooms. I have got spiderwort, and this is Charlotte's Web. I've got another one just right down the way. And so she's getting a little long, getting a little leggy. We're gonna come in here and clean it up. So I'm just gonna cut all of this back, right? We've got fresh new growth right here. So we're just gonna clean it up. More daylilies. My phlox, like her top, the top is going on. She is looking great. Her knees and her ankles, her legs look terrible. But I think I'm just gonna leave her. I think because she is flowering and she's showing me that nice, beautiful color, for now, I'm just gonna leave her. I'm gonna leave her alone, and then maybe once she stops flowering, then we can cut her back. But yeah, so for now, she's getting left alone. My hummingbirds are absolutely loving my Agastaki and the salvias. So we're not gonna do anything to those. I don't wanna mess those up at all. So we're gonna leave, this is the blue suede shoes, and then the queen nectarine, doing nicely. When we had the construction, started the demo part up here, the royal raspberry, I think it is. I always get my names mixed up. But the pink one has gotten a little floppy, and there is another one right here. So these have gotten really kind of messed up from the demo. So what I'm gonna do is, I've got beautiful new growth right here. I'm just gonna come in and cut it back. Do not, and this is salvia, same thing. I'm just gonna whack it. Do not be afraid, y'all, for your perennials, especially this time of year. Like if your perennials are on the struggle bus, if they're, showing signs of they've got maybe pretty foliage, or they've got foliage rather, maybe it's not very pretty, but they've got the foliage, and then the flowers are flopping or they're dead, just cut them back. I cannot think of, there's very few perennials, maybe with the exception of a grass, I wouldn't probably prune your perennial grasses right now, that don't benefit from a little haircut. They will do just fine. So yeah, we're gonna take care of that. Now, this side, since we're already up here, we're gonna come this way, right? More salvia. Y'all, these two salvias, these blue suede shoes right here, those were last year's plants. These were annuals, right? We planted them as annuals, and they came back. This was one plant. Look at that. Look how massive this thing is. So if you have going into fall, right? Thinking of this fall, you're going into it, and you're like, I wonder if this plant will come back for me. I wonder if this salvia will come back. I wonder if this vermillionaire, this petunia, this calibrachoa, right? Fill in the blank. If you're like, I wonder if it'll come back, leave it. Leave it alone. Let the freeze get it. Once the freeze has killed all your top foliage, cut it to the ground, and then you could put pine needles or mulch, just mulch it really well, and then just leave it alone and see what happens. So some years they come back, and then some years they do not. So just wanted to kind of give you an update on that. Now, let's come over here. All right, so this happens if I'm not prepared. Every year this will happen. So this is my lemon meringue baptisia. So this would qualify as a mess right now, but it's a natural mess in that this is a natural occurring situation. So you might notice that my poor Baptisia, the top looks like it has been completely defoliated, right? I mean, it is looking rough. And you're like, well, Jenny, what in the world happened? Because you pruned it and it was gorgeous. Like just when we were over here just the other day, a couple weeks ago, you know, doing the demo, it was gorgeous. Well, let me introduce you to this lovely Genista broom moth caterpillar. This is a naturally occurring caterpillar, so it is the caterpillar for the Genista broom moth. They love Baptisia, absolutely love it. This plant is completely covered in this caterpillar, and it will, if left to its own devices, defoliate the entire thing. So what they do is they come in, and you can see, like I've got pretty foliage, right? I don't know, I've got like literally right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those caterpillars that I can see right here. And they're gonna go to town and they're gonna eat all that foliage. They will also, I don't know if the camera's gonna pick up on it, but they form like spider webs. And so it's really kind of gross if you wanna think about it, right? So they're natural predators. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, wasps are a predator, and I think lizards. Birds don't eat them because they're toxic. So they have some sort of toxicity levels, so your birds are not gonna eat them. I wish they would, because I've got tons of songbirds, and so they would, oh my gosh, have a field day eating these guys. So clearly nothing's really eating them because they're massive. You can spray with BT. So the BT is a great organic solution just to spray it, and that will kill them, just like, you know, the budworm and all that other kind of stuff. Obviously at this point it's a little too far gone. Like for me, yes, I could kill the moths, not the caterpillars, and I could go ahead and kill them. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut the plant down to the ground. I'm just gonna cut it to the ground carefully so I don't have all these caterpillars all over me, put it in the Kubota and be done with it. Show you right here. So if I don't do anything, this is what the Baptisia will look like. So this one has already been devoured, and there's still some of the caterpillars on there, not nearly as many because clearly there's nothing really for them to eat. So I'm just gonna come in here and shear it down. The good thing is that they're not going to kill the plant. So even though they have completely defoliated this plant, the plant will come back next year and be as happy and just as big and strong and bloom and be gorgeous next year. It's just at this time of the year, they look terrible. And so I'm just gonna shear it down and just call it a day. If you wanna catch them early, be on the lookout for them. Spray your BT. You're gonna have to spray it, you know, every week or whatever the directions say. If you get rain, you're gonna have to spray it some more. Another thing that you can do that I have done in the past, this is where I forgot to do this year, is to use my Fertilome, that tree and shrub drench. So that will take care of it as well. That's a systemic that lasts for 12 months. No, I have never seen a decrease in our pollinator population. People will ask that, but it will definitely take care of those caterpillars. So like I said, I wish the birds would eat them because I would have some very, very happy birds because I would have a plentiful food source. On this side, we have the main problem here is, quote problem, is I have had, y'all, I don't know what this thing is. Maybe if y'all are out there in social media land, you can tell me what this thing is. It is a pain in my rear, that's all I know. So this guy right here, right here, boop, boop, boop. This is not supposed to be here. It sends out suckers, and it, like runners, right? You cannot pull it out. I think literally on the other side of the world, this same plant has grown. It just grows straight through the core of the earth, and because trying to pull it, it will not work. And I have got it in multiple places. I've got it here, like I said, I've got it all up here, I've got it back here, I've got a big one growing in the middle of my daylilies. They're extremely woody and just near, like you cannot dig them out. I have tried to dig them out, and they literally have roots to China. They go so far down. Now, what I'm gonna do today is I'm just gonna cut them off. It's a very temporary, very instant gratification kind of situation happening here. It does not help the plant kill it at all, but what it will do is I'm gonna cut it, but I'm not gonna cut it all the way to the ground. I'm gonna leave about, I don't know, maybe 6 inches sticking up, because this fall, as summer, as we're working and doing this massive project behind us, we're probably gonna come in here because it's time for me to divide my daylilies. It's time to move some things. I need to move this Gnathophyia because the Baptisia behind it's just getting so big. So when we're in here, I can get Jerry in here with the machines and we can actually get the real roots out, because that's the only way that we're gonna be able to get rid of this thing. I've been battling it for years and it's just getting worse. So it's driving me insane. So we're gonna clean up, my friends. We are cleaning things up and just getting in here and making it neat and tidy. So I hope y'all are ready to watch me work. I'm just gonna set the camera up and I'm gonna do exactly what I told you I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start on one end and work my way down. A lot of pruning, if I see a weed, you pull a weed. There's some in here, I saw some. So we're gonna take care of that. Cleaning up, neat and tidy is the name of the game. It's a beautiful space, but it needs a little love. So we're gonna give it some love today. Alrighty, my friends, so it has taken me several hours, probably 3 or 4. Now I did have lunch in there, but this was a little bit of a more involved project, but I'm very happy with how it all turned out. Again, neat and tidy was the name of the game today, and I think we accomplished that. So let's start down here where we originally began this morning. So long ago. Jackson took off probably at least three, possibly 4 Kubota trunkfuls of debris for me, right? But look, just like right here, you've got the daylilies. That's what I think took me probably some of my longest time were the daylilies, because of course the old stalks pull out pretty easy, right? But then I went around the bases of all of the daylilies because some of that foliage is starting to lay down and die. So you had all these brown old foliage on the ground surrounding it. It's like kind of like a brown skirt. And so that pulls out really easily, but it's kind of mixed in with the green, which doesn't pull. So it just kind of slows you down, but it makes such a difference when you're looking at it, and they just look so much neater because all that old foliage was all the way around. And so those are all cleaned up. Notice that the Baptisia back there has been cut to the ground, as has the guara that was right behind the rock. That's been cleaned up. The bee balm, right? just took off, just basically deadheaded. And same thing with the Shasta daisies right there. Deadheaded all of that. The liatris, right? So came in, just chopped it back. Now with the perennials, when these perennials that I have that I'm cutting back, whether it is the liatris that was right there or the spider's wort that's right down there, it's gonna flush back out. Just like that Amsonia that I cut back, you know, weeks ago, months ago, it's gonna flush back out with new green growth. It's not gonna flower, but it will flush back out with nice, thick green growth. So that is always nice, right? So again, daylilies. Y'all got a lot of daylilies in here. So those are all cleaned up very well. Salvia, the Agastache back there. Now, just as a side note, I want you to see, y'all, gardening, it keeps you humble. If it doesn't keep you humble, then you're not trying hard enough. What do I mean? Okay, I planted 2 purple fountain grasses. I did one on this side and one on this side. The exact same plant, the exact same time. The only difference is they're about 4 feet apart from each other. They're on the same irrigation lines. Like, all that is the exact same. One is thriving, one is pathetic. And so, who knows why? I don't know. Was the irrigation line something going on with this one? The timers are the exact same, so they get the same amount, but was something funky happening here that wasn't happening over here? Possibly so, but you know, anyway, gardening, like I said, keeps you humble for sure. I went ahead and trimmed back the rows. This is Princess Anne, it's a David Austin. It obviously is that standard form. The Japanese beetles had done just such a number on the foliage, and it was just getting, it just was looking rough, and I just wanted to kind of tidy it up. So you can see there's still some damage right there, but we've got new growth, and I have got time to go ahead and get new growth, and it should flower this fall. Some of those stalks, the canes that I cut back, did have some new growth on the tippy top and then a couple of buds, but I would rather go ahead and sacrifice a couple of flowers right now to get an overall nice shape, and then hopefully a nice, really nice flush of flowers again this fall. So there we go on that. Also, we had this is the Carolee Petite Pink Guara, so trim back on that one as well. Got all of the pesky junk tree-like stuff, all that was cut out, so that's all cleaned up. My Nephofia, right, so I cleaned up all the Nephofia, the red hot pokers. Basically, you kind of treat it like how you would a daylily. You can't pull the old stalks out, so you just go in and cut them down, and then any foliage in there, just kind of pull it back and pull it out, and it cleans up really nice. Now that the Baptisia in the back is gone, I think both my Nephofia and my Coleus will really kind of bush out and thicken up, and I should get some nice blooms on my Nephofia now that it gets sun all the way around it. And so let me just tell you, trimming back those Baptisias with those caterpillars on it, that was like the most disgusting thing ever, because in order to get in there, you have to really like get up close, and then your head is kind of like in the foliage, and those little caterpillars are just so active. I had a couple on my arms, so it's a good thing I was wearing my sun shirt, but I just felt like it's kind of like when you find a tick on you and you just feel like they're like all over you and they're just crawling all over you. That's what I felt like. But the kids assured me, they're like, you don't have any in your hair, but oh my gosh, they were just bleh. So I just don't like those things. So that's just a side note, a little personal side note right there. But yeah, everything else looks good. I had some irises, got them trimmed back, got them all cleaned up. But overall, I am happy with how this space looks. I know maybe it's not a huge dramatic change. It certainly isn't, you know, like the difference when you add a bunch of new plants that are flowering or whatever. But again, the neat and tidy makes me happy, and I certainly have enough flowers in here that are blooming to give me some color. Hummingbirds are still very happy. But I am thinking that this fall, or late summer rather, when we're doing all this construction, I'm thinking we might tweak some of these plants in here. Definitely, like the daylilies are just massive. They are just ginormous, and they can easily be divided because the bases of them can be anywhere from like 2 feet wide. So they definitely could be split and divided. They've been in here since the inception of the flower bed. So, you know, every so many years, you gotta come in here and divide your perennials. But anyway, I hope you have found this fun, informative, inspirational, enjoyed the fruits of my labor. Y'all get out in your garden, do just a little bit. Just if you can just pull one weed, then you'll have definitely helped your garden. So y'all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, my friends.